ain't going nowhere. So there are many here among us who have lost more than they've gained, amassing materials, deserting the ethereal plane. It's like smoke to calm the nerves. Like
Welcome to tonight's episode. We're very excited to be here in Vienna, Virginia. We're doing things a little bit differently tonight. As you notice, we're not in a kitchen ourselves. However, we are at Clarity, and we are with the executive chef team, John Kryn and Jason Maddens, who are going to help prepare tonight's meal.
So tonight we're doing things differently because we're pairing one of our favorite artists with food. What we asked Matt to do was to take 6 songs from his library and tell us a story with those 6 songs. And what we asked Jason to do was to extend the story with food.
The interesting dynamic between food and music is it evokes emotions no matter what. You get chills from a song, you get that sense of warmth from whatever it is that you're eating that evening. So having a chef and a musician combine their art into one evening's experience is something we really wanted to capture.
When the heart aches to set you free, it's that same old tired song that keeps stringing us along, darling, dreaming up an
Thanks so much for having us here.
Of course.
We're really excited. It's been something we've really been looking forward to. So we're
as
going
well.
to ask you some questions.
All right.
We've had the pleasure not only of eating your food, but to hear you sing and hear you play. So we know you have this music influence as
pleasure.
well. It absolutely was. Can you tell us about the first concert you ever went to and how that may have driven some of where you are today?
First concert I went to was an HF festival back when they had those in probably like 98 or something like that. I was still in high school, and you know, you like different music as you evolve in life. But there was this point in the show where it was raining, and everyone was miserable and freezing. It's like an all-day thing. It was at I think the Baltimore Ravens Stadium or something, and there was this point where everyone's miserable. We're actually sitting in the stands because we just didn't want to be. We're just like freezing, and the headliner was Rage Against the Machine, which in high school that was like, you know,
The shit.
The shit. So they came out. S1Ep5 finished. It was also good, but like Rage came out, and they went into Bulls on Parade. It was their first song,
Yeah.
and we were like, maybe we should go down there. We go down there. It was like a rainforest on the field because of all the people. There was like a cloud above it because the way you were just instantly like, oh my God, what are we doing sitting up there? There's no place in the world I'd rather be than right here listening to this. And then they just rocked out. I mean, it was like a greatest hits performance. And that was the first time that I was like exposed really to, and that's like huge stage and everything. But yeah, that's a music memory I think that will always stick with me.
Do you think music's had an influence on your food?
Well, the whole culture of music and creativity, and when I was in college, everybody that I worked with, I worked in a restaurant, everybody that I worked with had a hobby, like outside, they had school obviously, but like this guy was a mountain biker, and this guy was a rock climber, and this guy was a musician. And I was like, it seems like everybody I work with has something that they do, whether it's music or art or whatever. And it sort of just became like this sort of symbiotic, if you do this for a living, then chances are you probably do something else creative, because we're all, we get bored fast. We want to create new things, and I think it's a similar relationship with, the way musicians think and all that. So.
All right. From Philadelphia, please welcome Matt Duke.
So, I'm not entirely sure how much more I can take these days. Let me just clue you in. So this is my day. My day is I wake up at 6:45 every morning. I make sure that the kids are up, that they're good to go to school. We make their breakfast, and I take a shower, I shave, I get out the door, I punch in at work, I do the whole work thing until about 5 o'clock, and then I'm on my way home, feed the kids, put them to bed, and then there's pretty much nothing else to do after that except to go to sleep myself because I'm exhausted, because this is what I do every day pretty much. That's it. This is not the life that I asked for. This is not the life that I wanted. And even my wife and I feel like I don't even know her anymore. We used to talk, and now we can't find anything to talk about. Our sex life is non-existent, so I don't even try to think about that because it's so depressing. Sometimes I don't even think that she knows I'm there. We're just kind of two ghosts floating around in the house doing our things, taking care of the kids. I don't even know if this is what I wanted. So I started to take these trips. I would go to the store. I would start to drive. So I'd drive to the store one day, then the next day I'd drive like down the block and then back. The next day I'd drive maybe 2 blocks. The next time I go out, I'd make it to the highway. Then the next time, a little further down. It was always kind of cathartic, like under the stars, just play my own music, be by myself. But this time is different. I brought my guitar with me. And I'm not going to go back this time. I just can't do it.
Every sentiment hangs around no longer than a minute or two, and I find I keep falling for love, but I can't seem to follow it through. So run, little rabbit, run. Just run, little rabbit, run. I leave one good hand on the wheel. I've been counting my markers for days. Everything falls further behind. I can disappear in several ways. So run, little rabbit, run. Just run, little rabbit, run. Run, little rabbit, run. Sleep through the morning. Just don't wake me up. Just don't wake me up. Sleep through the morning. One little man to one mighty son. Try to break away from yourself. Just throw your broken bones in a heap. All your blood and guts are exposed. Your spirit has been begging to leave. So run, little rabbit, run. Just run, little rabbit, run. I'll keep falling. Just run, little rabbit, run. Just run, little rabbit, run.
So I made it all the way to New York City, which was awesome. It was a long trip, but I made it. And it's been great because I've been there for probably like almost like a year and a half or so. And it's good. I mean, I ran out of what money I had, which was fine, but I've got really great friends who live there. Some boys of mine, we grew up together, and I could sleep on couches. I can do that whole thing. It's really not a big deal. So it's been great. And I've been playing out with my guitar a lot at events similar to this. kind of more smoky and in a more of a bar environment, like really heavy duty bar. You'd imagine there'd be chicken wire. There's not though, but it's. I got at least last time I played there was like 20 people there, so I'm doing pretty good. I'm building up a pretty good base, but it's been good. I mean, I got in a little bit of trouble. There's not much to do except I draw a lot of inspiration from. We go out late, drink a little bit, and smoke a little bit, and do some stuff and get into a little bit of trouble. But it's all good. I'm doing great. It's good. It's good so far.
So backed up, I spent a week traveling east on the interstate, on a pittance for fast food diet and some toothpaste. I can remedy alone, getting drunk, getting stoned, then I'm back to my good old ways. Open arms at the bar for the prodigal son who often goes astray. For now, the waking world can wait, to sing your blues away, and hope for better days. And pick an old song, man, we'll dance in the dark. It's that needle and thread, the stitch of my broken heart. So I cave in, I black out, I battle up until I pick a fight. Then I raise a bloody fist and a salute to every passerby. For the lawman's sake I might bend, but I won't break that part I leave for lovers and life. They say it's my right to keep quiet, I'll reserve it for some other time. For now, the waking world can wait, so sing your blues away, and hope for better days. And pick an old song, man, we'll dance in the dark. It's that needle and thread, the stitch of my broken heart. Oh, so cuff me up, take me in, I could sleep an hour or two. Just to me, the pros, the criminals will sing loud with nothing to lose. Oh Lord, oh music, save my soul. Now nothing's right but rock and roll for now. The waking world can wait, to sing your blues away, and hope for better days. Pick an old song, man, we'll dance in the dark, For now, the waking world can wait, sing your blues away, and hope for better days. And pick an old song, man, we'll dance in the dark. It's that needle and thread, stitch of my broken heart. Stitch of my broken heart.
Okay, guys. So you're finishing up Spanish Braised Octopus. There's a little ghost pepper jam, so that's where the heat's coming from. Scorpion pepper honey. So this is our character is he's doing good, like he said, and he seemed really sure of that. So this is a dish that's kind of unsure of itself. There's some heat in there, which is a little scary. There's, some ingredients that maybe you're not super familiar with. You're kind of coming into things for the first time. So that was the sort of theory behind this dish. It's paired with garnacha blanca from Xavier Clua. It's called Il Lucio. All right, enjoy.
So this is about the umpteenth time that I feel like I've woken up in a fog. It's just starting to get to be a little bit too much. Wake, you work, you sleep, you die a little every night. Well, so do I. You drink to please, to ease your pain, to hide yourself away. Well, so do I. I dress myself in excuses, love. Finding there's no one that I can trust. Armed with beats on your bended knees, you're just praying that redemption might come. But all my fear settles up on me, and it drags me to water, and it dunks my head under. All my fear settles up on me, and it drags me to water, and it dunks my head under. You're sick, the time you lost, man, you choked. The bio's in your throat. So do I. And you stop. You take a look around at all that shit that you found alone. So do I. I dress myself in excuses, love. I'm finding there's no one that I can trust. And armed with beats on my bended knees, I'm just praying that redemption might come. But whoa, whoa, 'cause all of my fear settles up on me, and it drags me to water, and it dunks my head under. All of my fear settles up on me, and it drags me to water, and it dunks my head under. Dress myself in excuses of love. I'm just finding that. All my fear settles up on me, and it drags me to water, and it dunks my head under. All of my fear settles up on me, and it drags me to water, dunks my head under. All my fear settles up on me, and it drags me to water, and it dunks my head, and all my fear settles up onto me, and it drags, and it drags, and it drags on me. Oh, 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 no.
So our guy here is starting to sort of regret some of the decisions he may or may not have made when he was eating those wild mushrooms. And so now this is sort of he's wishing maybe he was back home and craving the comfort food again. So we went with kind of a play on barbecue. You got your ham hot collard greens, crispy packet of mac and cheese, pork belly, pork loin. This is paired with the, what are you drinking? The sour ale from Victory Brewing. It's called Sour Monkey. So the sourness of the ale kind of cuts the fattiness of the dish, and hopefully sort of all comes together nicely. All right, enjoy.
So usually I'm reminded in times like this that there was the first song that I ever wrote, and I wrote it for the love of my life that I'd met at the time. And I'd sing it to my kids when they have a hard time sleeping. And I could use a little bit of that now. So lay me with you, lay with me and I'll see you through. Just lay me with you. So turn the lights down low, slip into my arms. Eyes on me, we're all alone. Love is safe within these walls, darling. Comfort like a lullaby. Lay me with you, lay with me and I'll see you through. Just lay me with you. So draw in deeper breath. We'll ride this ship to shore, undulating linen sheets, like waves we keep in time we're sailing. Comfort like a lullaby. Lay me with you. Just lay with me and I'll see you through. Just lay me with you. So even so, unified, you and I, just come with me. Two hearts, one beat. Lay me with you. Just lay with me and I'll see you through. Just lay me with you. Just lay me with you. Just lay me with you. Just lay me with you.
All right, so you're finishing up your final savory course. So this was all about sort of like decadence, and he's sort of been reunited with someone he cares a lot about. So we went just foie gras and truffles and, prime steak and just things that are really powerful and strong. And this is paired with worthy Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley.
So I can remember exactly what she looked like the very first time that I met her. She was working at this concession stand. She was wearing this blue uniform with like a blue visor, blue eyes, blonde hair, and she was reading a book. We were really young, and I remember thinking that I would get the nerve to go up and talk to her, but she was just so intensely reading this book, and it was clearly a book that she's read many, many times before, because the spine of it had all these creases down it, and it just looked worn out. And it was Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. That was what she was reading. And so immediately my thought was, we've got somebody who is just a intensely passionate person, just very romantic at their core, and she was gorgeous. But like so many things, it's just like I saw her and I thought to myself, I could do this, but it's probably better if you just run away, if you just drive off, because you've got no shot whatsoever. No shot. But I was like relatively, as far as like guys go, pretty, I guess, confident-ish. And I walked up to her and we tried to make small talk, and it was brutal initially. But eventually we would get married. She'd be my wife. And we'd have kids, and we'd have a house. And I'd wake up at 6:45 in the morning and get my kids ready for school and go to work and come home. And all I know is that I made an enormous mistake. And now it's time for me to probably head home, to get on that train and go back home. So remember our first time, just trying to speak to each other. I told some bad joke, I choked, you laughed. Hands clasped together on a busy street. The world was a blur to me, and my periphery could have been collapsing around me, and I wouldn't see it. Waiting for hours and days at times. Was your mother getting wise? Then the phone would ring again, and me and my friends and you and your friends, we'd sneak away. We'd go out to the fields, away from the old ones, the sadness, the steel. Match for our young blood, hope for the hopelessly lost and confused, how everything pales. This is love on a major scale. Remember the downpour, the open door. I was calling your name. No, I was singing it loud enough to drown out the rain. The reckless abandon, the thunder. You ran into my arms, and the air was charged. Lightning could have fallen all around us, and and I wouldn't see it. Go out to the fields, away from the old ones, the sadness, the steel, a match for our young blood, hope for the hopelessly lost and confused, how everything pales. This is love on a major scale. 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 So our clock is ticking faster. You're a shell of who you once were. Grab your seat for the ain't so sweet hereafter. And you and I, we might come to an end. It might be tomorrow. So hold you close and I'll take it all in. This way when the skies fall and the oceans seem to swallow us whole, I'll just close my eyes when this world says goodbye. We'll go out to the fields, away from the old ones, the sadness, the steel, match for our young blood, hope for the hopelessly lost and confused, how everything failed. Go out to the fields, away from the old ones, the sadness, the steel, match for our young blood. Go out to the fields, away from the old ones, the sadness, the steel, match for our young blood. Out to the fields, away from the old ones, the sadness, the steel, match for our young blood. How everything pales. This is love on a major scale. This is love on a major scale. This is love on a major scale.
All right, we have our last course. So with this course, this was kind of to me, the way that I interpreted the story and the song and everything. John and I, this is sort of just, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna come together. We're gonna do this. It's kind of haphazardly plated, with the crumble sort of thrown on there at the last second. It's like, screw it, we're gonna do this. Let's make it work. It's paired with a dolcetto. So it's dolcetto means little sweet wine in Italian, but it's actually a dry wine. And the story behind this, my wife and I, who's over here tonight, we had a bottle of this, and I made some brownies, and these were regular brownies. These weren't like these weren't like course 3 brownies. These were like regular brownies, and we happened to be drinking this, and I took a sip with the brownie, and I was like, wow, this goes really well with chocolate. So that's where the pairing came from. All right, thank you very much.
But thank you so much to Matt, to John Kryn, to Jason Maddens. Well, I hope everyone had a good time tonight. Thank you so much for coming.
I met Bill because the first day I came in, sat down, and there was Bill. And I went, hi, I'm Bill. I'm Jason. And so then we ended up sitting next to each other for the rest of the class. And there'd be like a lecture in the morning, and then it was go into the kitchen and cook, and then go back and lecture again. And we would have our tests, and we would take the test in the lecture room. Well, Bill would cheat off of my test. But I was, you know, I don't give a shit. I'm like, you know, I'll make it so he can see, you know, and I could see him. But so we joke about that today, you know, and we were in it for different reasons. So to us, it's comical, the whole thing. But yeah, that's probably good. You're welcome.
Wait, don't touch the remote. Earlier in the day, we got to sit down with Matt Duke for a bit of Q&A, so keep watching.
My first question is kind of breaking the ice question.
Okay.
So what was your favorite game to play as a child?
Let's think. My favorite game to play as a kid. It was always just me hanging out with my best friend at the time who lived down the street. We would just make up games typically. But horse was a big one because we loved playing basketball, so
Yeah.
horse was kind of it. And whoever lost typically had to do something embarrassing, and that was it. I mean, otherwise we'd spend most of our time like swimming in a creek and looking for golf balls and reselling them to golfers and doing stuff like that because that was where we lived. It was
Cool.
just off a golf course. So.
Well, you have a young child, and you know, obviously, due to generational differences, her growing up is different from your growing up experience. Do you think that she'll find pleasure in a similar type of game, or is there something you see her leaning towards as far as entertainment goes?
I don't know, because I guess it depends mostly with my child, with my daughter Ren. It's going to depend on what the rest of her generation is doing too, because what's unfortunate is, I mean, growing up, I feel like we're the last group that was, when we got home, our parents kicked us out of the house and said, don't come back until like the street lamps come on or until we call you for dinner or whatever, which was awesome because you just kind of had like, at least within like a regulated area, like carte blanche of whatever you want to do as a kid. And you just used your imagination, did a bunch of stuff, hung out with the local kids, whatever.
Yep.
And you just don't do that anymore. Like, you just can't send your kid out. And I don't think it's because things are worse than they were. I just think that this is just the climate, the culture that we live in now, where we're just a little bit too nervous of sending them out. So I feel like they're spending a lot more time with technology and trying to, so I feel like there will be a fine line with adapting between trying to find time with that technology and do something with imagination. She's really good. If she can occupy herself, and
That's
when
good.
she plays with friends, she's really, really good. So
that's
we're
good.
so far so good.
I think imagination is just the hardest thing to capture and make sure that they get it and
Yeah.
utilize it. So I totally get that. I mean, we were free-range children.
Yeah.
You know, and then thank goodness you had a similar experience because generationally we are different.
Right.
But I would go out and it really literally was, when the sun's ready to go down, you better be inside the house.
Right.
And that was your time of day. That
Yeah.
was the only expectation you had.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went everywhere. So I'm going to take you into the realm of memories.
Okay.
And what I'd like to know is, you know, we're dealing with music and food and the memories that generates and things that stick with you through the years. Think back to a first real restaurant experience where the taste, the smells, the foods lingered with you enough that you can call it back, and how that may have affected you as far as dealing with food and kind of restaurants you want to go to or things you do at home.
But we kept things, growing up in our family, like we didn't stray too far from the norm for us. I grew up in my dad is Irish, my mom is Italian Polish, so we stayed closer to like Italian foods. There was a place up the street, there was a diner that we would go to every once in a while. Well, not even every once in a while, because we went to it frequently, but it was called the Sage Diner in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And I just remember having the matzo ball soup, like that was a big thing. And yeah, those were really good times, like spending with my family, like after, whether it was like after church or it was after some sort of event, because the diner would obviously be open, so we would go and hang out. But as I got older, then I started to branch out and do things like Mexican food and Indian food and all that good stuff. And but yeah, at the time, we kind of kept things a little bit more conservative, like Italian, all that good stuff. So.
And it didn't sound like you strayed too far outside of the neighborhood.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think that's a good thing. I mean, obviously there was 3 different cultures there, so you were exposed to that through culinary instead of just everyday experience.
Yeah. Well, I will. I'll quickly say that I do remember because I was eating something this morning, and I always have this very vivid memory of the first time I had sriracha, which I know is some people's favorite condiment, and it became mine too. But like going to like a Chinese restaurant in the city in Philadelphia when I was really young, I went with a guy that was working on music at the time with me. Like when this was like my very first shot at doing anything.
Wow.
And that was my very first introduction to sriracha, which blew my mind. This was so good. But then there's something about sriracha that sort of like as a metaphor for the fearlessness at the time for me of when I got into music and I was trying to figure out my own voice and stuff like that, was just to not pigeonhole myself, not to put myself in a box, but just to explore and figure out the space outside of myself. And so, yeah, that was, and it was kind of apropos that it was around the time that I was first recording anyway. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a great
Cool.
analogy. I mean, when you think about it, the spiciness, the unexpected heat, all of that stuff that comes along with sriracha or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
And then you put yourself in a situation you haven't been in before, and you're really out there trying to do what craft you want to create. It's unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Sriracha's the best.
We actually had a meal yesterday, and they offer you ketchup, but they also offer you sriracha ketchup.
Yes.
Yeah, so you blend those two together. It's kind of mind blowing.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't expect it.
Kind of to follow on with, your first experience recording, and kind of the process of writing songs and so on. So Cheryl and I were talking, and my favorite place to concentrate is mowing the lawn. I have a rider lawnmower. I know it takes 25 minutes, and there's just this hum in the background, and have my best ideas mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
But do you have like maybe a go-to process or a go-to spot, or how do you write?
The best melodies that I've ever come up with when I reflect and think back on songs that I've written have either been in the shower,
Yeah.
which I feel like is a lot of people's go-to too. Just there's no better place to sing but in the shower. You sound really good when you sing in a shower. But also going for walks just to clear my head and do things like that. Usually like a melody will come and I'll just, luckily now, it's different now because you've got your iPhone on you, you can record something quickly. Before it was, I had an idea and I was just like, well, I'm a half mile away from home. I'm gonna just continue to recite this melody over and over until I get home so I don't forget it. And
Now you can just record yourself.
yeah, but otherwise if I take time to like seriously sit down and write, I don't feel like I get the same tunes out of it sometimes. They're good tunes, the songs are strong, but there's something really special about just being a part of the moment, and then all of a sudden something comes to you, and to me those have been some of the best melodies I've come up with. So I don't know where they come from, but that's how it works.
Well, I was laughing earlier because, when I think about Bill being on the lawnmower, and I think, there's that hum, and I think you get that similar hum in the shower.
Yeah.
And he can get so much into the zone. He can actually run over something, not realize he ran over it, and break the mower.
Yeah.
Rocks. There's rocks.
There's lots of rocks, and
I didn't see it coming.
he didn't.
Yeah.
And he didn't know it happened. But you kind of get lost in that concentration. And,
Yeah.
I assume that just happens for you too, especially when you do get a melody in your head.
It does. Yeah,
great.
running over rocks and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Matt Duke song to me.
Yeah.
Running over rocks.
Yeah. I'll work on it.
I'll work on that.
I'll work on that one.
So guilty pleasures. I mean, we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
Primarily around food. But when we think about our musician friends, when we think about guilty pleasures, give us some examples of some songs or artists that are in your playlist that no one would expect that you've got them in there.
That's a good one. Well, I'm not, see, it's funny because I just don't consider them guilty pleasures because I've got no shame in admitting that it's just like I love bands. I mean, I grew up in a generation too that was like emo music was big and stuff like that, and like I've listened to like everything from like metal to like post metal to whatever, and so all that stuff is all good. I love Paramore because I love Hayley Williams' voice so much.
Right.
So I'm a big Paramore fan. I'm a huge Robin fan, and Robin is sort of like just think of dance pop, electronic pop. It's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Anything else that you have?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
So if you could write yourself a letter 10 years ago, what would you now, what advice would you want to give yourself 10 years ago?
10 years ago. I suppose in a serious sense, because 10 years ago I can remember where I was too, but that it's going to get better. Everything is going to get better. I think that would be the biggest thing, is that it's just like day by day, even when I was like 10 years ago and looking forward ahead, I was just like, I know that this is going to get better from where it is now. And not to say that my life was awful by any means, because it isn't, but I was just going through some tough times and just trying to find myself just like anybody does. And so that whole sort of mantra of it's going to be okay, it's going to be fine. And it is, because I get to be in situations now where I'm sitting with you two and talking about this stuff, and with unique events and playing music, and it's great. I also would have told myself to avoid fast food on the road, because that's a terrible idea. It'll throw you off for the duration of your trip. Yeah, just avoid that at all costs.
We know plenty of artists that travel with a blender, and they pick up fruits and
stuff,
coconut water,
and good for them.
Spinach, and they try to keep some sort of normalcy.
Yeah.
Because they said they tend to get stuck in a rut of available good food, primarily because of the clubs, and they are serving bar food, and that typically is very carb laden and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then so many of them now are, gluten-free or looking for a healthier diet, that they are seeking out now places like Whole Foods or local markets and things like that.
Yeah.
So.
And more of that stuff seems to be available now more than it was years ago. You feel like these places have been popping up. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even we went to Zoe's Kitchen today just for a quick bite, because things were crazy here, and just to be able to get a nice little salad that is freshly made and has a good solid vinaigrette on it is not always easy.
Yeah.
So.
In this show, we obviously are pairing music and food and so on, and eventually you'll watch the episode and you'll see what I mean. But I had this idea of trying to create something that would tie one episode to another and kind of wrap one season all together in one. And so the idea was we're slowly writing a song from one episode to another.
Right. And
so you're smiling, so you're not terrified or whatever.
Right.
Because I've started this process and people are like, oh, are you kidding me? So I give this theme, and what I'll ask you to do is just kind of off the top of your head, if you had a lyric to come out with about this theme, and then later we're going to take all of these pieces and see if we can make a song out of it.
Cool.
At a different episode, a different time, which you hopefully will be part of, and we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that.
So I'll give you the kind of the theme or the topic.
Okay.
The topic is caught between chaos and control.
Between chaos and control. Okay. And just come up with some sort of lyric to...
Yeah. But for you, I mean, it's like it's one of the things you do.
True. Caught between chaos and control. Let me take like 30 seconds and see if I can think of something, and if I can't, then we'll do it later. Because I'll come up with something good. Yeah. Between chaos and control. Somewhere between chaos and control is about where I'm living, between the green rolling hills and the bright lights of the city. I'm here between chaos and control. Something like that.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I like it.
Done. That's wonderful.
Cool. All right.
Thank you. Well, we are so much looking forward to tonight. The power of music, the power of a story through song, coupled with the wonderful taste sensations that Jason's preparing for us tonight. We think it's just going to be a really stellar experience.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to it. Thanks for making the time.
Thank you very much.